I'm Garen Hamby from the Eagle FFA chapter in Tennessee, and I'm an American Star finalist in Agriscience. So my research was in two areas. One was in private market research, and the other was in animal reproduction. So my SAE got it started in 2017 with a company called Hoofstock Ventures. That company was designed to do research about animal reproduction. Initially, we started off comparing two programming protocols. One was a 7-day CEDAR protocol, and one was a 14-day CEDAR protocol. And then that advanced to analyzing anti-PMSG antibodies for a product called PG600. And then my second one was Agriscience, and that initially covered do agritourism enterprises need marketing help with their advertising? And that eventually evolved into working with companies like Bayer Crop Science as well, doing Purdue's LCP study and a bunch of other fronts as well. I have 9 studies now and soon to be 11. Well, when I first started off in high school, I wanted to make my mark in FFA and find a place that I could call home and do a good job and something like that. And so my parents traveled a lot for work, and so with sheep lambing, those can span over a month or 2 months. And so my goal was to tighten up that group and compare two protocols that would tighten up that lambing period to about 2 weeks. And so the goal there was so I could have my parents to help 14, 15-year-old me properly lamb out those ewes by myself or have some assistance if I needed it. And so that was the first goal there, and that sparked off a real passion for research, and that eventually evolved into my now career doing private market research in the ag sphere. So my parents were heavily involved in FFA growing up. Dad was a past national officer, Mom was a past state officer, and so I kind of had a home in FFA, and they always inspired me to be curious about everything, ask questions, challenge norms. And so with agriscience, in the end, or any kind of research, you want to be curious. And so in terms of supporting and inspiration there, they got me going initially at a very, very young age, even before I even got involved in FFA, to be curious about things. My advisor was incredibly welcoming. My freshman year of high school, I had transferred counties and transferred schools, and so brand new school, brand new people around me, and so to have that welcoming voice from my advisor, Emily Marshall, was very, very helpful for me in terms of getting me involved in that community. Not a ton of folks know this about me, and especially when you look at me, you have no idea, but I actually have a mild speech fluency disability called a stutter. And so the biggest thing that I've learned is to be confident in myself. In agriscience, it's kind of a mix of prepared public speaking and extemporaneous speaking, and when you know your research, well, you know it, and so it gives you a lot of confidence. And so this contest, in the start, I honestly couldn't speak that well, and now here I am now, having the ability to speak to people. And so for me, that's the biggest outcome. Even though I've done all this wonderful research, the biggest outcome for me is being able to speak fluently and talk to others. It's truly life-changing. As anyone involved in FFA knows, FFA dumps you in front of a ton of people. During my state officer year, I met thousands upon thousands of students, and it taught me how to meet people, how to greet people, and how to speak in front of a group of people. If I look back on my 14-year-old self and said, hey, Garen, you're going to speak in front of 4,000 people at Tennessee FFA convention, I would have never believed you. As a kid with a stutter, it was really challenging for me to speak in front of anybody. And so now, having had that skill, that's probably one of the greatest things I've learned, and one of the greatest takeaways for me was that, is to have confidence in myself.
Hi, my name is Rylee Smith, and I'm from the Oologah FFA chapter in Oologah, Oklahoma, and I am an American Star finalist in Agriscience. My project consisted of several agriscience research experiments testing food security, food sustainability, and the soil health for food production. My SAE project began when I was an 8th grader in FFA. I started experimenting with how to preserve apple slices and how to prevent them, what could increase the shelf life of them. I moved on to the chemical composition of different brands of bottled water. From there, I tested the impact CBD oil has on broiler growth. I tested vitamin C retention in oranges after 2 weeks of storage, and later tested the impact cattle have on soil. When I transitioned into my freshman research scholar program at Oklahoma State University, I began testing more on the soil and the soil health in order to make amendments to the soil in order to ensure I'm producing the best quality produce. That is what I started doing at the Oklahoma State University student farm. I began testing soil in a grid-like pattern, determining the soil health of it, and from there I was able to continue with the soil health program, and I'm able to provide fresh produce to the low-income families in my community through our partnership with Our Daily Bread, which is the local food and resource center for Payne County. Through this process, I've learned so many different things. It's hard to pick what's the most important, but on practical skills, I've learned how to become a better writer, a better researcher. I've learned how to create research plans. On a more professional level, I've learned how to communicate with individuals, coordinate people, and just learn what it's like to be involved in the research process. My parents have been big supporters of my research since I began. Anything I did that I was all in on, they were also all in on. They were there with me every step of the way, helping me with any resources that I needed, any guidance, any complicated calculations I couldn't figure out. They were right there. My FFA advisor, Katie Smith, has impacted me in multiple ways. She helped inspire me to stay in agriculture. She helped inspire me to pursue research. She also has inspired me to pursue a career as an agriculture instructor, just like she has, because she helped me find a sense of belonging and a sense of purpose in my life, and that is exactly what I want to do in the future with my future students. The FFA has meant a place of belonging and friendships and connections, and it just has given me a sense of purpose for my life. So I found that I loved agriculture and that I want to teach agriculture, and I want to help increase ag literacy across the country, across the globe. It has given me professional skills, it has given me lifetime friendships, and that is one of the reasons that I want to go back and give back to the FFA community, because it has just been so impactful on me.
Hello, National FFA. My name is Lizzie Schafer, and I'm from the Taylorville FFA chapter in Taylorville, Illinois. And I am a 2024 Star of America finalist in Agriscience. The first 4 projects all dealt with bovine reproduction and how to improve that. I concluded the best way to synchronize recipient cattle, the best way to synchronize donor cattle, and the most cost-effective embryo transfer method. The 5th project dealt with separating first calf heifer calves off from the aged cow-calf group, which resulted in a 0 death loss and a decrease in respiratory illness. One of the greatest challenges was trying to secure a high amount of cattle in order to conclude these projects and make them accurate, especially in central Illinois. And I did this by reaching out to other farms and also increasing our cattle herd for these projects. My parents and advisors have been extremely influential in this entire process. I've had this goal since I was 7 years old, and they've helped me with every single step of the way, from securing cattle to completing the application and conducting interviews. The FFA has given me the opportunity to travel to so many different states in this nation, but I've also got the opportunity to represent the United States twice at the Royal Highland Show, and I've also gotten to the opportunity to do community service, which has greatly helped me with interacting with other people, and the FFA is something that I have been passionate about from a young age. I'm very excited to be able to represent my state. The FFA has influenced me at every step of my life. They've taught me that interacting with people is essential to reach high levels of success, and that you can't go anywhere without people that are there to help you and support you at every step of the way. And I'm very thankful to those mentors and supporters that have been there for me throughout the years. I hope that my Agriscience Fair projects and future projects impact the world by creating more opportunities for producers to maximize their profit. But I also want to be able to showcase what we as producers do on a daily basis, so that way the entire world knows how hard it is to create a high quality, stable food supply to feed our growing population. One of the greatest things that I've learned from this process is that you really truly can make a difference. These projects have helped producers in other states as well as in the state of Illinois, and I really believe that this is an extremely amazing opportunity for me to be able to do. I really want to be able to create more cattle for these producers to increase their profit margin. My future plans are to study at Kansas State University, where I'm double majoring in animal science and agriculture communications. While I'm there, I'm working for ESPN, trying to learn how to promote what we do on a daily basis. By working for them, I hope to be able to gain the skills to promote agriculture on a national scale and share the results of my projects with people throughout the nation. I've always dreamed of wearing a blue corduroy jacket since the time I can remember, and being able to wear that jacket and represent my state and my nation is something that I have always enjoyed doing. FFA has been my entire life, and I'm extremely grateful to be able to have this opportunity.
My name is Audrey Bishop from the Van Alstyne FFA chapter in Van Alstyne, Texas, and I'm a finalist for American Star in Agriscience. So I started my research the summer after my freshman year of high school, looking at the effects of antibiotics on plants. From there, I found even more questions, so I started looking for ways to combat some of the negative effects that I found, and ended up looking at the effects of antibiotics and probiotics on plants, and then eventually soil microbes. That's really just started my passion for plant and soil science and for environmental science, and so just kept researching, and my project developed from there. So I determined that a lot of farmers are not testing for soil microbes because the tests are either too expensive or they don't understand the importance of testing for soil microbes and how that can impact their crop yields and their efficiency. So I realized that there needs to be a lot of education on soil microbes, antibiotics, and their impacts so that farmers can get the most out of their yields and not be wasting money with fertilizers that can't be converted to plant usable forms. So I definitely would not have been able to do this without the help from my parents and advisors. Like I said, there was not a ton of research that was already out there, so I had to rely a lot on asking questions that led to more questions that eventually led to some sort of idea on how I could actually conduct my research. And that foundation would not have been there without the help from those supporters. FFA is honestly everything to me. It's where I've gained some of my biggest skills. I was very shy going into my freshman year of high school, did not like to public speak, could not answer interview questions. And I really gained all of those skills through FFA, through different contests, through Agriscience, getting to work with others, to work on my research and then present my research. It's just really taught me so much looking in. I've grown so much as a person and as a leader, but FFA has also provided me with my passion. I would not be where I am today if I wouldn't have been in FFA in high school, if I wouldn't have done this agri-science research. So there's no telling where I would have been. So honestly, FFA has completely changed the course of my life. So after I graduate from Oklahoma State, I plan to go to law school and eventually work in agricultural policy and environmental policy so that I can really be that advocate for agriculturists who don't always have someone advocating for them on a federal or state level policy-wise. So I just hope to be able to combine my eventual legal knowledge with my knowledge of agriculture and my hands-on experience through research so that I can be an advocate and create positive changes for the community. FFA has definitely inspired me to, one, be involved in agriculture. I don't come from a traditional agriculture background, and so without FFA, I wouldn't have any of the experience within the ag industry that I have now, and so I wouldn't be able to be that advocate in the future because I wouldn't have any knowledge of it. So FFA has really inspired me to work for the agriculture industry and work towards positive goals, but the people within FFA have inspired me too. There's always so many great people that you can look for advice and for different paths to follow. And without FFA as a whole and the people within it, I would not be where I am today. I would not have been involved in the things that I am in, and I wouldn't have my ideas for the future.